Yeah.
Are you
All
sick
right.
of voting for the lesser of two evils? Cthulhu,
Yeah.
a candidate that's honest about just how evil he is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sick of your dreams being denied? Well,
Absolutely.
Cthulhu is an
Yeah.
individual that will give you dreams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm aware of that
Are you
much.
sick
Yeah.
of this system in general? Do you want just do away with
Mm-hmm.
the further choices? Cthulhu, no more years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a system.
Yeah, I guess we all are. I mean, people who have souls and have dreams. That's my definition of a soul. Somebody who has authentic dreams, authentic desires. Not everybody has that, but for those few of us who maybe we are part of the Cthulhu bloodline, I don't know so much about Cthulhu, but I think that there's few of us who may have heard the so-called call of Cthulhu, and we have authentic dreams, authentic vision, authentic wants and desires, and we are the ones who are being denied in the system, I think. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of that going on, and well, I thought maybe I would have had something to say, but we're here with Alien Vlog, Alien Teachings, with
Yep, that's right.
And to show the ones that
yeah, I'm still resurrected,
and as I call them, Lzwvmmh formerly known as
Oh,
Mr. Cthulhu, Mr. Alien, Araxu,
yep.
Axaru, Angry Bird,
Yeah.
Adamantinian, various
Various names, babe.
um,
Various name for a multidimensional being with multidimensional sides to himself. Some people I'm known to have change my mind often, but I'm just here to say that I ain't changing my mind. I'm just multidimensional.
Well, it's important to be honest about it instead of I've met
Mm-hmm.
a series of church leaders and preachers and ministers and stuff like this that they're not Christian. It's just
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they've gone too far, and this is a job. It's a better paying job than most jobs. So it's like,
Yeah.
why am I throwing away my ministry school?
Mm-hmm.
Protestant, Catholic, you encounter the same thing. And as you see here, this is,
Mm-hmm.
this is the former meme for him. I guess there's a little space on.
Lzwvmmh Zuvfuazenes. What's written there, by the way? I'm curious. Tell me about what's written there.
If you remember from last time, I have these names for people and things and stuff, and they're usually
now I'm
they're
remembering.
usually in 9 parts. The language I call it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Now I'm recalling what you told me about this once. Yeah.
and the one that's different is, okay, some non-human things have different things, but the one that's different is I based off of some Sumerian stuff that kind of relates to the whole Cthulhu mythos, if you think about it.
Yep.
But also relates to VK Gehenna, and for some reason he's like the only person who ever got one that wasn't 9. So his name is 8 vibrations instead of 9 vibrations. So the reason for that, I didn't do that on purpose. That's just how it came out. So, but he doesn't like it. I'm, physical reality. I am moved by physical reality. If divination and all that, whatever, people's choice. But he doesn't like the fact that I turn to etymology and stuff first. And it's like all sorts. I'm sure you're aware that all sorts of cultures, they refer to pretty much the same things. So if you say demon or god or angel or something in a different language, you're still talking about the same thing. And he's like, you read one of these botched up grimoires, it's like, people like, oh, I can't accept the Bible. Well, I'm going to accept something that's even less reliable. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but I don't think I've understood the concept 100% for the audience who maybe doesn't understand you 100% either. The concept of having 9 vibrations in a name. What's the point? What do you mean? Really?
Well, there's a lot of 9 based mythologies, but I guess we can. The Persians and the Hindus were I guess where this is the strongest. I guess. Well, the Egyptians had 9 groups of 9 entities and gates and stuff too. But
yeah.
You have 2 eyes, you have ears, you have nostrils, you have your mouth, your genitals, and your anus. That's 9 spots there. So they're referred to as the 9 gates. So we're the city of 9 gates. So that movie is a lot closer to a physically based mythology than a lot of people realize. If you've ever seen that movie.
No, I haven't. I probably missed something great there, I guess. So we are referred to as gates with 9 gates, or what do you mean by that?
Well, yeah, not 9 parts. So it's like a representation of the person, and it tends to have the date where they were given the name. I refer to the moon. So the lunar day is embedded, just like last night's chant included the word 5. So it included 5, and second month there it included basically it's just a special name for the thing. So nowadays most so 8 times a year I tend to have another one of those, and any new guest.
If you could give me the simplest example to illustrate the 9 vibrational part and why it's so important to have 9 names, how would you illustrate that in the most simple way for a dummy?
It's basically it represents the person, and it represents the person as it connects to the physical side of the person, but it also has a mythological connection, because obviously it's like a spiritual name. But it comes from dreams, and sometimes it's like something just comes to mind. Sometimes it's like I dream it.
Okay.
And the weird thing sometimes is when I get this information, it's like I don't need as much sleep that night.
Okay.
Like
so it's more intuitive thing that you just follow, and it makes sense.
I'll be up past midnight, and I'll get a string of these chants, and I won't. Then I won't need the couple hours sleep that I would have lost.
Yeah, I remember our last video. It started with the 9 chants. I remember now.
But
yeah.
As I've pointed out more thoroughly, I guess it all hasn't been released, but H.P. Lovecraft, he did 2 things. He studied. He was well. Very few people now, even nowadays, are as in touch with comparative religion as H.P. Lovecraft was.
Yeah, that's right.
And he had a history of visions and dreams and stuff that he kind of imbibed his stories with in combination with that.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah.
He did connect. He was influenced by Poe and a lot of other writers, but one of the difficult things in his work sometimes is he referring to something real, something from his experience, something he heard of either through his family line or through mythology, or what's the deal? So if it turns out that a lot of the names and stuff, if they're not a direct reference, they represent something. It's like no one who reads Sumerian is going to believe Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian. If the Simon Necronomicon was what people thought it was, Simon would have known. He would have known the difference between one language and the other. He would have known the cultural context, but it represents something that could have been. You do have you do have it's like basically Cthulhu takes the place of Xingzu and for the most part.
Xingzu, never heard about that one. Tell me about Xingzu.
Well, the whole son of Tiamat is it, am I saying it right?
Oh, Kingu. All right, Kingu.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So that's one of the things that goes on there. So it's you got the person of Earth, the Necronomic, the fake Necronomicon that says, oh, people are interested in Lovecraft, so let's put this thing out.
Yeah.
So some mythologies have this idea that there's like a mother of Satan, and Tiamat takes that place.
Yeah, she takes that place. Yeah.
And Cthulhu, as much as
is he the father, or what the fuck is Cthulhu in relation to Tiamat? That's a kind of interesting question.
Xingzu is obviously in the Sun are also one of the later generations, kind of like Humwawa and Pazuzu and stuff like that would have been a next generation, but you would have had Umumu, Abzu.
Imumu, Apsu, yeah. I'm familiar with those, yeah.
So it would have been like Man of Earth. So Enki and Enlil are not really, they're like secondary characters. As much as there's arguments about, oh, this one's Satan and this one's Yahweh, and the other one's Satan and Yahweh. Neither of them totally line up, and neither of them are really what you're talking about. It goes to something further back. But obviously Christianity has turned against its take off the natural man and all
so
all
Cthulhu
that stuff.
is like the natural man here, right?
Sort of like sort of like what creeps up when you don't I mean, psychologically, it's like sort of what creeps up
like
when you
repress
try,
parts of yourself.
Yeah, when you try to repress it, and it's like that sort of thing that's like, okay, I'm involved with this, but I'm doing away with this whole thing because I'm, you're trying to tell me this whole thing's evil, and well,
that's so inspirational to hear that's what he represents. That's kind of my intuitive feel as well. What he represents, he's like the natural man. That's very interesting, I must say.
And of course, it's given such a Yog-Sothoth, I guess, would be the
Yog-Sothoth. His name is kind of fucking cool. Yog-Sothoth. Not someone you want to fuck with, that's for sure.
Well, Nyarlathotep, you might not know. You might the
Egyptian one.
You might not know that sort of.
No, I know nothing about it.
I mean, you don't. This guy's got something up his sleeve. Yog-Sothoth is.
He's like
Shub-Niggurath in the mythologies. Shub-Niggurath and Yog-Sothoth is. Well, I mean, in the books. In the fiction books, Yog-Sothoth is, and perhaps Shub-Niggurath, which is like, in reality, you're that's sort of the female Satan for real.
And they can take shapes in different. They take shape in different mythological ways, but they're really representing natural forces in us. Like Cthulhu is the repressed part of ourselves, and what might Yog-Sothoth be then?
Well, Yog-Sothoth's like an evil holy ghost or something.
Okay. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting description there.
Well, I mean, if you,
holy ghost, unholy ghost, perhaps.
if you refer to it as something like off the Christian thing, because the Christians kind of fumbled with the whole. With the whole Gabriel and Holy Spirit thing, and turn it into like a separate entity. But it's like the Son is the one who does all the work, And the Father says the message, the Holy Ghost is just there as a presence, more or less. It doesn't. And the Book of Revelations has a whole series of Holy Spirit of Holy Ghost. So you don't know which Holy Spirit's what, but you know that they compiled their thing. But the Yog-Sothoth is the permeator one. So.
I now remember. Yeah, he was like a permeator
and
kind of thing.
Of course, you got some stuff just you know, transfers directly into the Cthulhu mythos. You got Bast and you got Hypnos. You know, Bast is that cat deity, and Hypnos is like the incubation sort of sleep entity, but not quite like Cthulhu and bestowing the dream.
Oh, that's fucking interesting. I did not know that. Oh wow, that's kind of the thing I'm not so aware of and would like to know more about, the connection with Egyptian and Sumerian, historical pantheons with historical mythological pantheons, with how it goes along with the Cthulhu myth. That's like something I need to check into more, because that could give me a more complete explanation of Satanism as a whole, I guess.
Well, as much as people try, it's like, okay, the Yazidi thing, it's real. It's 30,000 years of this culture, and they worship this entity called Shaitan. It's like you don't even have to know that it means something that's right along the lines of the same devil thing, but it turns out that, you know, they have a 9 gatekeeper mythology. Is that if you look at the broader form, you're looking at 7 entities, an agent, which is Malik Taus, and what they're not quite willing to discuss as well, which is where you get the the Sumerian myth with Shub-Niggurath and Lzwvmmh and Namsar and all that. That needs to be discussed more. You run into, they don't really want to talk that far. So Satan is like, in that way, it's like the agent. But sometimes you can say talk about Satan as, you know, the up there at the top as the. But if you know, like for example, the Islamic inflection of the whole Satan myth is that it's like Satan had his own thing, and he said, and he basically you can say there's 2 religions. In that way of speaking, is there's submission to God, and there's Satanism, which is basically Satan said, "Hey, I'm a different thing than this thing. I must be better."
I'm aware of it.
I'm gonna have my way, and which makes completely ridiculous this idea that you know, like you hear from church folk that,
it's ridiculous.
Like the devil was defeated. It's like, I think this idea that it was like defeated once and that was it forever, nothing. It's like, that's part of why things have got so bad, is people figure, oh well, the devil's already defeated. We don't even have to try to keep our act together.
That's the best way to defeat someone, is declaring himself defeated, even before the battle has started, so to speak.
But yeah, it's
powerful,
like,
subliminal there.
I live in a part of the country where of my country where going to church is more common than other parts, but being religious isn't. Most people in well, other parts of my country too, but most people in my part of the country don't believe that being a good person is all that important. You say Jesus is Lord, and that's like, you know, that's better than being righteous. The funny thing is, they open up their own Bible, and what does it say? Matthew 7, verse 21 says that calling me Lord, Lord's not going to basically points out that calling him Lord, saying to me Lord, Lord's not going to cut it. You got to do the will of the one that sent me. It's like, so yeah, you have to be a good person too. I'm sorry. And the next verse is basically condemn everybody who does anything in his name. It's like, how can you be a Christian if you can't even do a good deed in his name?
Yeah.
And there's other passages like that they just don't take literally. It's like some sort of metaphor. Just like I was raised that everything in the Old Testament that even condemned Christian theology was a similitude. it's a similitude of Jesus coming by saying that you can't accept, that you have to do your deeds yourself, that no one can atone for your sins. It's really a similitude that you have to have someone else atone for your sins. Yeah, so things go off in that direction. But you've noticed that mythologies kind of that mythologies kind of have this connection, that are different parts of our psychology, which is part of the key. People are all talking about, you evoke this spirit and that spirit, and you go through this book and you try to call up all these other things that you may never be able to put back. They don't tell you that part usually. But it's like you're supposed to be evoking this change in yourself. And I mean, that's part of the connection. This name is, it's like a power code for oneself, I guess. It's like my name, and I didn't intend it, but my butt chant is, you know, So yeah, one of the things that Christianity stepped away from, which is important, you got to, like H.P. Lovecraft, and Don Quixote. I don't know who wrote Don Quixote.
Don Quixote.
But that book has like over 700 different characters. And H.P. Lovecraft wrote about a lot of different characters in fiction and otherwise. But I don't think he was as varied as a Don Quixote. But Lovecraft deals with what people call the shadow. Now, the shadow is not all the bad or whatever, but it's just what you're not consciously dealing with. So it's kind of dealing with these different things. And I think I tried to start saying it earlier, maybe didn't. But as much as H.P. Lovecraft talked about Halloween and Christmas and stuff.
I wasn't aware of that.
He was definitely he was one of those people that said Merry Christmas because basically you weren't.
Did he say Merry Christmas?
Basically you weren't tolerated if you didn't. So you could be non-Christian, but you better say Merry Christmas. It's as much as it was in the American Constitution that you had freedom of religion or freedom from religion. There were blue laws, and there were also neighbors you had to deal with. I thought one of my neighbors was going to hurt me because I opposed Marxism. It's like
me too.
As a Christian, you can't. You know. Well, first of all, there's different types of communism, and second of all, I see a difference between Paul and Jesus. They were two totally different people, and Paul in the Bible.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
He was communist. He was communist. But he was communist like a lot of people are communist. Like all these people pushing communism, they're not going to give up their mansions and divide their wealth amongst the people. What are they talking about?
I don't think so.
Because a lot of these people in my country, they're trying to literally overturn the Constitution and whatever was good about it. I'm not saying it was all totally good. That's why. You know, going to switch the meme to something in a second here, but well, maybe a second, but
no. Yeah.
So you know that's why you may not be aware of it. I've done.
You've done more research than I've. That's for sure.
I've done. I've done political memes. I mean, I've done political programs. And
I bet you have.
I've done I try to I do spiritual ones, but I do like ancient. Every year I come up with an ancient Egyptian one. So this one here, one here is really you know
what the fuck is that?
This is the one for this year, and Bess and Bess.
For this year, all right.
My ancient Egyptian political model, because like with these characters, I think I'm going into Lovecraft stuff this year in what I'm presenting because I think it has something to say to the political situation right now. It's like
it has.
But,
fuck!
But
that's
see,
interesting.
this Bess and Bissett are listed as, you know, the male and the female. That's sort of like it's they're the protectors of women and children. They're humorous. The whole thing's the political situation right now is a joke. We have this guy. We have this guy right here that.
Yeah, he's definitely the joke. Looks like a fucking joke.
He says all sorts of stuff, and but he forgets who he forgets. He's like a total puppet for the system. It's like he talks about the New World Order. He's doing the same stuff for 48 years. Yeah. And right now, one of the things that is everybody knows Donald Trump's a showman and all that stuff.
Yeah, everybody.
But Biden, every time he speaks, it's like they take a clip from what he just said in his public appearance and says, "Look at who I'm running against. Are you going to vote for this guy?" That's literally all the Trump campaign has to do to get votes right now. Is like point out.
Takes me back to your former question: lesser evils, right? Two of lesser evils. Not much of a choice there.
Yeah, their point the main political parties and the third political parties. The third political parties are doing the same garbage.
Yeah,
because you know what they're doing. The third political parties are out there. I'm not speaking as clear, but whatever. This is fine. The third political parties are corporate sponsored too.
Yeah.
So we don't really have anybody that we hear of. I thought I was going to interview this one guy that maybe had something to say other than, the Libertarian or the Green Party has a little bit different of corporate sponsorship than the other ones.
Yeah.
So he's doing his own thing, and if he gets attention, that's
he's doing his own thing. Yeah.
But. Yeah, I don't know what this. I don't know what this guy. This is the picture. The stuff in this thing right here are actually they're actual quotes from this guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Fuck.
This guy says something. This guy says racist stuff. This guy says he doesn't regret. Unlike, I don't like this Me Too thing. There are real victims here. If you don't say no, you don't resist. Somebody starts making out with you. Okay, well, say no. Say don't go any further or something like that. But don't regret it later and say rape. Don't say peer pressure. It's like whatever. But this guy, this guy goes around grabbing people first, and a handful of women have came forward and basically accused him of rape. I mean,
oh fuck,
real rape. And he's basically, I don't regret a thing.
Oh fuck.
So in reference to his behavior with women, I don't regret a thing, and we're voting. I don't want to grow up my children around black people because it'll be like a jungle, a racial jungle.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the exact quote, but you see here. Or the one I didn't include here is that anybody says I'm not religious, I'm going to shove my rosary beads up their. Going to church. Isn't being religious. These people just
it's not. I've noticed that.
Okay, maybe you can behave yourself for an hour a week and back. But what's that old song? Ain't it a shame? To beat your wife on a Sunday, ain't it a shame? Ain't it a shame to go drinking? Ain't it a shame to do this, that, and the other? And, but you got the whole rest of when you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, ain't a shame. But that's how a lot of stuff is. And now it's in my now it's in my it wasn't quite the same when I was younger. When I was younger, you at least behaved yourself on a Sunday. But nowadays it's like they don't. If it's not Christmas, even you may not even know that the person has any beliefs whatsoever, and then they're like, "Better say Merry Christmas." But I don't say Merry Christmas back to no one. Thank you very much.
It's like people are not even aware of the changes that goes on in their own belief system structures. That's kind of interesting. First, they don't question why they believe in something, and then secondly, they don't even question the evolution of that belief. That's fucking. I don't know.
It's like I pointed out. It's like people nowadays. Politically, we have four different things. We have, well, I mean, period. Politically, spiritually, whatever. It's not what you believe; it's how you believe it. So you got the fundamentalist, you got the conservative, you got the liberal and the reform. Are progressive, you may want to call them, and it's how you believe it. One of the big problems
that's key.
Like a fundamentalist, it depends on what you believe. It's like, first of all, the Bible has all these weird numbers in it, right? And these numbers, it turns out, they mean something, and they don't something other than numbers. So when it says Noah was 600 years old when he went into the ark, you know what that also translates as?
No, please tell me.
Noah was so old that he had white hair when he entered the ark. That's a universal belief.
What?
And it wasn't quite an ark; it was like a barge. The Quran has a clearer story that makes clear that it was a local flood, not the whole earth being covered with water. But the Bible still doesn't make it as necessary as people think it does. But I started getting, us people with Norse ancestry and stuff, we start getting white hair as early as 20, which is fine. I don't have any black hair to go gray, and even if I did, whatever. It's more about confidence of your age than anything else. Men don't have to worry about it as much. It's not like we're trying to make our living off of looking pretty, and once we turn 25, we better figure out how to make makeup thick enough to hide that. But I mean, like, they can't be valued otherwise. They really think that. But you can believe that. There's symbolic things, and also you realize the whole it's a Bible. It's a Bible. That means it's a collection of books. It's right there in the word, Biblia. So it comes from a lot of stuff, and the Bible has like 74 things. 74 books that's mentioned, and you know what? If you look in the Sumerian, the Akkadian,
wasn't it 66 or
66? But the first English Bibles had 100 different ones. So they cut it down partially because they figured out some of them later, like the King James Version of the Bible. It started with the Apocrypha, and then they decided to kick it out because we're not Catholic anymore, so we better kick out the parts of the Bible that support. Better.
That explains it.
So it was easier to support Catholicism than Protestantism with those books, so they kicked.
Christianity needs to adapt when to new times, and it reshapes and readapts itself. Jesus does the same. There's a black Jesus and a white Jesus, and he adapts himself to every time and every culture, it seems, there.
Well, why do you think there are so many? There's literally, the Catholic Church alone has over 10,000 saints. And
you said it there,
in America, it's like, okay, no graven images and all that, but it's like, okay, we're being stark down at stuff, but this guy was such a hero. We need to move his body back and forth, his remains back and forth, and build monuments wherever his remains were, and build a big statue and all this other stuff. But we were just humble church folk to start out with, but we
just humble church folks right there for you.
And to bring up something, this is the whole point, and feel free to add in your own thing anytime. But
sure, thanks.
Because I'm asking you about what the lessons that you think can get from different myths and different fictional characters. I'll go into but if you look at this here,
what's that?
Well, it's the traditional colors of Islamic flags, and you look at
it looks very Islamic to me.
In the well, I mean, you got those three Arabic words there, but and what they mean. So, but it's a sort of stage of society, the black flag is you're working your way through. You're doing what you think is right, regardless of popularity or difficulty. What you're doing, what you think is best in this situation, not necessarily. So that's what the black flag is, and everybody's afraid of. Radical change. It's like there's got to be radical change somewhere.
That explains the fear of black there, right?
And the National Cathedral or something in my country has a statue of Muhammad, and there were cartoons with Muhammad, but they started putting all over the TV.
What?
Bars started putting all over the TV. Oh, if you draw a picture of Muhammad, it's blasphemy, and they might kill you for it. And pretty soon,
and they have it themselves.
What?
And they had. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, on the National Cathedral, there's a big old. They drew a statue
What?
that's supposed to be sort of a comical sort of Muhammad with a giant sword and a beard too long to
That
whatever.
sounds hypocritical.
But they put it there, and people were
Uh-huh.
fine with it until they started hearing on their television. It's like the Islamic world doesn't have as many death penalties as one thinks until the Christians came in and colonialized the place and told them, and they just picked up all the, were beheadings. Islam doesn't teach beheadings outside the battlefield, but they've been told by the Christians so long that the Bible has beheadings. And I've read in Christian books like from the 1800s and even 1900s criticizing, saying, hey, the Bible talks about beheadings and burnings and stuff like this for this, and Islam basically has like a whipping or something, and the person gets let go. And so people aren't sticking to their religion; they're like sticking whatever. Oh, the people in power, what's popular, and then it gets labeled as political Islam or popular Islam.
Oh, so that's how it's labeled to political Islam then, and that's how it changes with time, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily anything about the religion. It's just that people are sheep, and people are kind of hypocritical, as it might be called, that they want to appease one group, but they want to be labeled as another group. Like one of the definitions of fanaticism is there's two ways. Fanaticism is you mistake the temple or the teacher for the thing. Like you worship Jesus instead of saying, hey, he's a good guy to look at. It's like people can perform all sorts of rituals to Cthulhu and Nyarlathotep and all sorts of. There's a lot of difficult names in the Cthulhu mythos, but I'm trying to think of something. Well, and anyways,
take your time.
Yeah, but if people pick up the lessons from these things, it's like people. I've encountered people. I don't read much in terms of comic books and all that sort of stuff, but I've encountered people with comic books and their novels and stuff that take more lessons than people who go to church. It's like you can't take the ethical or example or other examples from these people. You're just putting them up there as saints. Like you can't follow them. Is one of the things sometimes that happens. Or you can take something that's like totally not real and learn more life lessons and stuff than you can. And I've maybe there were real entities, or maybe they're divinized heroes or something that work their way into the Egyptian thing. But it's like you look at these characters, Thoth and Osiris and all this other stuff. They had real world lessons to teach people, and if you pick up on that,
then you can get another piece of the puzzle, so to speak, in the whole Cthulhu mythos there, because
it's obvious we're obviously in dark territory, and if you've had anybody who's had spiritual experiences, some of it sounds just. I think if what I was doing last night, if people do not know what.
What did you do last night?
if people don't know what some of those experiences are like.
You know what I did last night, by the way? I was watching Boogie 29A8. He was playing Slender Man, so it was very fun to watch that, I must say.
I think Slender Man. Did Slender Man start out? I never saw it.
What's your opinion of Slender Man?
I think it's. I haven't. The only thing I've heard is it started out as some story that people were into, and then I guess they turned into a film. But they turned it into a film after someone was killed. For the sake of the thing, I think were those teenagers trying to summon Slender Man or something? So they thought
something like that.
So that's one of the things.
Maybe, wasn't it like a girl or something? I can just say what I remember, like some girl being told messages from a guy that went into windows of children and terrorize children to commit murder of other children, and something like that is I can recall of the whole story. Are you familiar with this? Anything like this, or with Slender Man there, or being like giving commands to children to do evil stuff, or is that just hearsay? Or
I'm not too into the thing, but if you listen to what some of these occultists, once they start listening to these things and doing whatever they want, right? It's like I have a book on No, I haven't done that. I haven't even set the video to be scheduled, but I have a book on Native American mythology, and it's like all over the place. It's all over the. Well, I have a whole series of them actually, but there's one that that I plan on talking about.
I bet you got more books than that at home, I guess.
Yeah, if you see the background, I've read a lot more books than the ones than the ones I have. But
I bet you have that.
But the and be careful with the books you inherit from your grandparents. Some of those things might be a couple bucks, some of them might be a couple thousand. You never know, so you got to check that stuff.
Thanks for that tip. Do you have a lot of books that could be worth a lot? I mean, you seem to have access to the whole library of religious history and
not worth. I have relatives that have books that. Did you know, like some of the old Stephen King first editions and stuff can even be worth a couple thousand?
Oh, that's interesting stuff, right?
And some people have older books. Sometimes books go down in value because things go out of thing. It's like I'm presenting a book right now that's not worth very much. It's like worth as an old book, it's worth as much as a new college textbook. You know why it's not worth much?
No,
because it's creationist. And since the 1950s, that sort of thing has gone way down. It used to be everybody was into creationism, and if you had a 100-year-old creationist book, a textbook for college or something, that'd be worth some money. But nowadays, it's like it's worth some money, but it's not worth that much money because it's completely debunked in its interpretation. I mean, it's a worthwhile book. It's just taking literally that the world's less than 7,000 years old is just not something any rational person can do.
Would be interested in
and that's the thing. It's Joseph Campbell. I got into this stuff really. Joseph Campbell. Who the fuck was that? Joseph Campbell. He was. Great mythologist, along with Mircea Eliade, but he basically tried to talk about the meaning and experience of mythology. It was less about things being cosmologically real, but it was about having experience of life, and the mythology is about experiencing life. And
I'm a fan of that.
He would connect Native American stories to biblical patterns and stuff in India.
Can you do that?
Stuff like this. Yeah, you can look at some of the same basic formats and connect.
Yeah, give an example of what you said about that. That could be interesting. What kind of experiential connection could there be with Native Americans and Christianity, except for the fact that they were fucking killed and slaughtered by the Christians? But what would you say about that shit?
Well, they connect to the same thing, but what I was saying about the guidance in this Native American book, it was all over the place. Even the listening spirits that say mix these 4 types of animal droppings into this paste and make a magic circle and stuff like this, and dog sacrifices and stuff like this. So,
really?
And you know what happened when the guy did it? When the guy in the story went through with it, the spirit showed up and basically the spirit was making a joke of him, and he didn't even realize it. And how many of these occult authors and stuff like this you hear that's like, I listen to voices that tell me to go find pieces of dead animals and bring them back, and I don't know if it's legal or not, but I'm
bones and frogs.
Some of it's risky to their health, some of it's legally risky, but it's like we got some of the same formats. It's like if you look at this diagram right here, you may recognize
what the fuck is that?
But the Native Americans, you find the same basic outline. You have all over the world, you find this cube or square with a dot or
it's getting interesting.
Or a pit in it. You have you have like stuff representing the shadow. You have stuff pointing to different stars and stuff like this. You have circuits representing the planetary thing. You have male and female. You have the male and where's the male? Where's the? Okay, I guess it's kind of off screen. Oh, I keep forgetting you can't see my mouse pointer directly.
Oh no, I can't. Fuck.
Okay, so I'm trying.
That's gonna be a little harder for you then, I guess.
But basically, basically, when people go to this place here, they're enacting their psychology. And the Native Americans had places like that. They had this. You had the same basic. You had stages of life. You have your mother, your father, and your child stage. You have you have the initiation of the woman, whether you're going to marry the woman or not. You have different types of hero deeds. These Joseph Campbell was good about lining a lot of this stuff up. That hey, we're talking about the same basic stuff. And there's also the child stage. Aleister Crowley here. Let me at least get some Crowley related meme on the screen. But
yeah, sure.
he talked about you know, the child stage is basically your puberty. The whole secret of the Adam and Eve story mythologically, I mean, connects to the whole. You hit puberty, right? And so you're hit with all these desires, and it's just you just got don't let the guy allow you get you in trouble. Don't let the gal get you in trouble. You gotta do your thing. But you have your thing. It's like, what are the first 3 commandments of the Bible? Christianity goes separate. The first 3 commandments are get yourself get yourself paired up, have sex, and then have kids. That's it. So having sex is like the number 2 commandment.
That's from Genesis book.
But people are like Paul. Paul got turned down by one woman and said avoid getting married. And if you're married, you better avoid having sex as much as possible. Only have sex so you won't go off and cheat on your spouse.
I'm aware. I'm aware of that.
So it's been sort of anti-family from the start to a degree. And the interesting thing though is like in the Bible, you can have a bishop. You can have a bishop, right? And the bishop will a bishop's only allowed to have one wife. But if you're higher or lower than the bishop, then you can't have more than one wife. So all this stuff in my country where they're like 1 man and 1 woman is all we're ever allowed, and that's not a critical thing. But I'm not saying the Bible has honor killings. It has forced marriage. It has a lot of messed up stuff. It says like they practically want to kill you if you pulled out once. It's.
Do you think Islam took that from Christianity as well?
Oh, the people who do that, they don't look that kindly. In Pakistan, if there's an honor killing, the government may kill everybody involved. They'll execute 20 people for if they group together and do an honor killing. So, but they don't report that as widely on the news. But they do have a lot of stuff. But Saudi Arabia has more laws against the practice and teaching of Islam than any other country. They've literally outlawed most early Islamic books. I'm talking like history books and stuff like that. There's like a list of like 40, 50 books, and everything else is banned in that country.
Okay.
So anything about early Islam is not anything. The main books are allowed, but the ones that didn't get as popular aren't allowed. And every year they're killing people that are Islamic scholars or something like that because.
What did you say about early Islam again? Like I missed that part. Could you take that again? With
there's hundreds of books talking about what I mean from the first few hundred years. There's hundreds of books talking about what Muhammad said, what his companions said.
What really?
What the people of his house.
They're not in the Quran or.
Yeah, stuff that's not in the Quran. There's hundreds of books like that, and most of them.
I did not know that.
Most of them are banned from being reprinted in Saudi Arabia. It could sit in some guy's private collection or media, but if they're printed or sermons are given on them, there's arrest and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that fact. Cool.
They were literally literally check your what books you have at the airport, and even if it's Islamic books, you could get the thing pulled because it could even reference one of those things.
Wow. That forces me to change my view of Islam right there.
But
you know.
Almost pretty much every Muslim majority country persecutes Islam in one way or another. So people say, "Oh, it's the Christians" or something like this. It's not. It's everybody, because the monarchs and stuff, they have their thing. Like in my country, a whistleblower that complains about the government, have that could be their life. You think this guy that some agents doing their thing. I've been accused. There's a group that I've responded to, and if we do know the program, that meme on the screen.
Yeah, sure, definitely
related to that. Yeah. But so I've been accused by people in that one group for doing for being a government agent. If I really was a government agent, it's up. It's up to 10 years in prison for posing an agent. So if you
are you joking with me? What the fuck?
I've encountered people going throughout religious and ethnic communities and stuff like this, basically spying on people, spying on the thing, and it is.
Yeah, I bet you have. I mean, you're giving a complete picture of Islam there.
I can't tell who. I told you I was banned from Skype, and you know what?
You did.
You know what?
What happened?
I didn't even get to save the thing. I contacted all sorts of politicians and stuff, people who are running for president, people in foreign countries and stuff like this. Yeah. It turns out that in America, most of the politicians, they have machines that answer you. They answer you by email, they answer you by Skype message and various things.
What the fuck?
Wow. I got contacted back by the Ayatollah Khomeini account got back to me. And this guy spoke almost nothing in terms of English, mostly Farsi, which I don't really understand. But this guy, I'm not saying, in all those years on TV and everything else, of course he's going to say stuff that people don't like and stuff that he maybe shouldn't have said. But the guy just sounds like a family person that just thinks that the world should get along. He doesn't think America should be allowed to invade 159 countries since World War II, like it has. But
what the fuck?
It has. So that's the whole thing. But he's not against attacking civilians or something like this. But he's basically he was just.
Oh, by the way, someone is coming. I need to keep my voice down, but I'm listening to you.
So he wasn't sort of the boogeyman in the exchange that I had. He wasn't the sort of boogeyman or sort of terrorist or something like this. It didn't sound like that from the communications with this person. He did refer me to somebody else, but because I'm out there trying to get the interviews that other people aren't doing. But because there was a book done like 30 years ago or something like that, 9 Parts of Desire or something like that, and I thought, okay, let's see if I can get something like that. But family values, people putting his own country first. So it wasn't because that's what you got to do with your country's resources. You don't give them to all these foreigners and let your people starve and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But it wasn't anything too outlandish or something. But I think maybe it's like an unwritten rule. You're not supposed to talk to certain people from certain countries. So
Wow.
But very, very focused on family values was the thing that came through more than anything else. But it wasn't. I'd rather, of course, my own country got their act together.
That's for sure.
In my country, we're in my country, we're too much. We got this messianic complex. Either the person in charge, they're going to do it all for us. So they're either the savior or they're the devil that's going to destroy everything, regardless of how ridiculous
that's interesting.
Thing is. Anything good or bad, a president, The most they can do, they can appoint Supreme Court justices and stuff, but they can't really do much as the president as we think. They can say stuff and it can be voted down. They're not dictators. They have good ideas, and they're like, you know, the president of my country in March said, maybe we should all have food in line so we can do a full shutdown of the country if we need to, if this thing gets bad enough. And they just approved it. They just approved it a few weeks ago or something, that they finally got the first round of food approved if they're going to shut things down. We've shut down our economy so bad and stuff. We haven't actually done quarantines except for people at the VA. If you're if you go to the VA, if you're a veteran in this country, they experiment you on you hardcore. You don't have permission to what drugs and stuff they can do on you. So the first people, some of the first people to die from this coronavirus thing was people who went to the VA. And
you didn't.
I'm not a vet, so I don't have access to that sort of thing. But they give you, they run whatever expensive drug tests they want on you, stuff that was banned 50 years ago. They don't care. They're giving it to the vets, so they drug you half to death.
Fuck.
No wonder most of the people dying, like in China. In China, they drugged people down with expensive hardcore medication, and then they figured out that they can use vitamins, and people started surviving.
I bet they do.
So they may have lost millions of people for all we know. 21 million cell phone users since this whole thing started in China, and I'm thinking maybe they just drugged people half to death and people starved in their homes.
Yeah, I'm thinking along the same lines, intuitively speaking.
Starving in their home. In my country, 80-something% of the food was not produced this year.
Fuck. Yeah.
So we're having fruit that's not ripened in the store. Like what it's been kept in cold from last year or something.
Whoa, shit.
And a lot of the stuff is just not there. And they're pulling this garbage. You better wear your mask, and we're charging you $10 for this thing that looks like somebody cut a piece off of their underwear and stitched a strap to it or something.
Fuck.
But you know what's more effective? Washing your face every few hours. Not
what he said in here
or something. They say that if you wash your hands and face every few hours or something, you're better. You're doing better than the people with the mask.
Oh my gosh! Come on.
Honestly.
What hypocritical advice is that? I mean, come on.
But shit. You know, a fish once a week, a small meal of fruit every day, that's more effective than all the stuff they're messing with you. But
whoa, fuck, really?
So if you can't have a few oranges a day, you're malnourished. You're not dying from corona, you're malnourished. That's what you're dying from.
Yeah. Fuck. The solution is so simple, yet they have to complicate it so much. With bullshit most of the fucking time. Yeah, now the voices are gone, by the way, so I can keep my voice up again a little more. So,
one thing I get from the whole Cthulhu mythos thing is that
let's go back to that. That's interesting.
Is the whole Edward Snowden thing? I guess you can say is that if it thinks there's a mystery to find out, and these people are always into this mystery. And that's
I like mysteries. You know me.
Like, why you studying all those? Why you? It's like, even if it's in the religious book that they favor, it's like, why are you focusing on the verses about spirits and stuff? Well, I want to understand the issue. Thank you very much. It doesn't mean that I have to. It's talking about the devil, so I got to make get the devil on my side. It's like, well, I'm not saying that. But you know, if you understand this stuff, then you can deal with it. But if you're like hiding in a corner, you know,
that's what you're not supposed to do. Not with this shit.
Then both sides can be kind of against you because you're not doing what you should be doing for one side, and another side's kind of. But you know, they go and they find the thing, and they find these mysteries, and they experience these mysteries, and that's another thing I like to do is I think both essentially all these highs that you can experience and all this stuff. Maybe you can't have Garuda or Baruch or whichever language or Bluebird or whatever language term you want to use for the thing. take you
Okay, yeah.
take you through the 7 heavens and down into hell and all this other stuff. Maybe you can't have that happen to you, but you can definitely engage yourself in the mythology you're taking part in. If you're reading a scripture contemplatively, if you're
contemplatively, yeah.
If you're meditating your way through, you got these, the pathways in your body that you when people trace the pentagrams, it's not about, oh, if I trace the pentagram in this direction, that this entity, no.
Yeah.
You got your body. You open your arms and legs, you form a pentagram on your face.
Yeah, that's like a pentagram, yeah.
You got a pentagram, and you can trace those, and you're supposed to follow it along in your body, and you feel it. So you practice feeling it. And
that's the meditative part of it.
Through different sounds and different focuses on blood flow and stuff like this, particularly if you've had experience with drugs. My experience with drugs has been being medicated. And once I learned that I don't have to be medicated, I have all the benefit.
Inside of it,
you can find the. It's like, don't get me wrong, those first few days on opiates can be awesome. But then you're sleeping 15 hours a day and you don't care. And it's like, if I don't care about things, even if something's good, it's like veg is taken off. It's like, no. But when you're in the hospital and they give you more than they need to, it's at least even if you pass out, the minute before you pass out is just,
oh,
you're
shit.
Like, better than any roller coaster ride, but but you don't want to go down that road.
No,
it's like I've taken these ADHD medication was horrible.
It
was never beneficial, and it was like
never beneficial. No,
it was the static on the TV. It's like, okay, sometimes it jolted your attention, just like coffee. It gives you this jolt, and then it drags you down. But amphetamine drugs is like you're droned out.
Oh fuck! I hate that kind of shit. Amphetamine shit and heroin shit. Fuck.
But it's like what happens with the street drugs. It's like paint thinner,
benzo,
paint thinner, surface cleaner, and drain cleaner. It's like no way. And then meth's even worse. What they add to make the meth is even worse. And then you got dealers,
then the meth itself.
Then the dealers are cutting it with. Meth is a messed up drug.
Yeah.
Medicine quality.
But this is even more messed up.
Battery acid and brake fluid is.
Oh fuck! What the fuck? That's not something you want in the body. I think I stick to my MindLab Pro and Qualia Mind there. To be honest with you, in case you haven't seen my video about that shit, but. I like to keep myself to my lion's mane and my chaga mushrooms, and this is not for me. This heroin, rat poison there. There are better ways, you could say.
I mean, even if Alex Crowley definitely got it right in one respect, that if you're going to indulge yourself in drugs, you want to explore your consciousness. You want to.
Of course you want.
Master your ability to do stuff. If that's not in your intention to do drugs, you would just want to escape.
Then don't take it.
Yeah.
That's simple.
at the very least. And throwing on the on the Christian thing you say there is you got this they condemn sorcery, right? Even put it in Galatians 5 as like the thing. If you're a sorcerer, you go to hell. But,
kill them witches.
But sorcery, there's two things that it connects to. It connects to putting things to chance. It can, three things really.
To trance. That's a sorcery as well.
Chance but the ritual drug use is a way to define, is one of the definitions you can put on sorcery. But what in the world is the mass? The mass with the wine. It doesn't matter that you're not drinking 5 cups of wine. Like some of the Jews, if you go to one of the Jewish Passover services, they try to give you, you see someone down like 5 cups of wine. And it's like, it even becomes a tradition that you're drinking 4 cups of wine. It's like, well, but what are the kids at the table? The kids need to fall down drunk too. But well, I mean, it's got to be a cost to give everybody that much wine, but maybe they give them smaller cups.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do back in the day. You used to give your kid anything from alcohol to laudanum, which is when you drink with your painkillers, it's worse. It's even worse than using plain. I mean, the straight heroin's not too bad comparatively. But if you drink with opium, like they used to give you, how do you pronounce that? Laudanum or something like that, which is basically is hard liquor and opium. And people used to take that all the time. And people used to give that to their kids to get them to shut up.
They did?
To sleep. Yeah.
What?
And so nowadays that's not quite so acceptable, but it used to be the thing that people got.
And they have the stomach to call it drugs and call you fucking drug addict for taking these things when they were fucking common back in the days. Give fucking, to children and shit.
Well, that's where all the medication came from. It's no longer appropriate to get your kids high on heroin or
what a hypocrisy.
So nowadays they give you psychiatric medication and they fool us. My mother, she wasn't doing it today. She thought as a good Christian, as a good American, this is what you're supposed to do. Your son's weird, and that might be some issue, and well. It never fixed my coordination issue. So what's that have to do with anything? That's the only real problem I had. And I if you're gonna yell at me and stick me in the room with all these unnecessary socialization or something, it's like, okay, I'll wander around and do my own thing, talking to people or something. But you stick me in a room, where I have to hear a bunch of loud conversations off in every corner or something. It's like, it's not quite the same.
Just a side question. Do you know if this program takes a lot of megabytes from your phone? I got like 14,000 megabytes left of internet before I have to refill it. But does this take more than Skype, or do you know anything about that?
This takes less than Skype.
Then we don't have to worry.
4 gigabytes is probably even another couple hours of being on. On this
Zoom is really nice, man.
So I don't think it presents any problem.
Okay, then we don't have to worry about it, I guess. Yeah, then we have then we can continue with good conscience there.
And of course we can switch off to any other. What fictional characters or which Lovecraft stories do you think we can learn from?
Well, the one I'm mostly interested in, which you probably know, and is of course the Cthulhu mythos. That's always the most interesting one because he's like the central figure and all, and we have Metallica, Call of Cthulhu, and it's so ingrained in the culture that this is the central figure of importance, and that's how I feel about it. So I definitely want to learn more about Cthulhu, but I also want to learn about the cool names like Yog-Sothoth and is Azathoth. Yeah, we haven't mentioned Azathoth. What's your opinion about Azathoth?
Well,
you know anything about Azathoth, or?
Well, it's he's like sort of the Satan sort of guy. He's up there with his weird throne beyond everything else, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wonder what he represents.
And one of the weird things. How do you say it? Well, yeah. So that place is in the South Pacific in an interesting area. The antipode, you know what an antipode is?
No, what's that?
Basically, like, rather than facing...
Antipode, or?
The opposite spot of the world. That every direction you face is the other spot.
Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
So the antipode of Mecca, Jerusalem, Medina, Damascus, all those places are over there in the South Pacific. So this guy picking this spot in the South Pacific has possibly connection to this idea that Satan has a throne on water, and that sort of thing. That's a very common mythological thing. There's two things: Satan has a throne in water, and Satan has a throne in the north. So the antipode of Mecca, the antipode of Jerusalem, the antipode of these top spiritual places of our age is right there in the air, in the general part of the ocean that that Cthulhu is said to be rising from. And I think that and it's also the region where, not too far from that exact spot, by not too far I mean relative terms, I'm not sure exactly where, there was this sound, the loudest living creature, fish, mammal, whatever. There was a sound there that they can't identify.
Yeah, I remember that sound. It was the loudest ever recorded in the sea.
And which would be a wonderful. I mean, we don't have to break off here, but as good of a point as any before transitioning to the next thing. The thing about that, the interesting thing about people talk about these high vibrations. No, beings are like 5 to 10 hertz, or we die. Literally, we respond to lower, we respond to higher, just like a lot of things. But whales and stuff, they will release like 150, 300 hertz, something like that. They will kill people. They will raise their vibrations and kill. One of the dangers about diving with whales and stuff is that there's particularly when you got a bigger whale, they will raise the vibration of the diver and kill them, because that's vibration will kill them. So all these new agers talking about raising your vibration, they don't have they don't know what they're talking about. They don't
know what they're talking about, right?
Because we respond to stuff, we put off frequencies, but our body, we're not doing this stuff.
Wow, these new agers, they think they know everything, don't they?
Well, that's the thing. They're like, they try to compose. Either we can segue or kind of break off into a new section. You want to break off into a new section?
Yeah.